GM, everyone, and welcome to another episode of FOMO Hour. Today is Friday, December 5th, 2025. Folks, Larry Fink, he says the sovereign wealth funds are buying Bitcoin. I guess they're not buying enough, at least today, because Bitcoin keeps dipping. We lost 90K briefly just before the show. Are we going to have another Black Friday? We're going to talk about it on today's stream. I'm your host, Tyler D. Farouk may be joining us. He's in the back of an Uber right now. We'll see if he's able to make it. What are we talking about on today's show? It might be a little bit of a freaky Friday so far. Okay, we're rebounding. Bitcoin back up 90,600. So, all right. Maybe that was, in fact, the bottom. We've had a little 10 a.m. reversal going on here. So we're going to talk markets. We're going to talk price action. We're going to check in on the synthetics competition, which I am not doing that well in. So we're going to go through some of my trades, how I'm thinking about the weekend, and some big updates from that team. We're going to talk January rate cuts already being priced in. So Bank of America is talking about the latest in stocks, Netflix, sovereign wealth funds buying, this new ETF report talking about the basis trade unwinding, some news out of Pump Fund, some retention data that actually looks pretty positive, the latest in prediction market news, and more. It looks like Farouk may be joining us here shortly. He's stood in the back of the studio, so we may have a guest come on, so stay tuned for that. Before we jump in, I do want to give a shout out to our partners. First up, EigenCloud. Built on EigenLayer security, extends crypto-grade verifiability to any application, from AI agents to prediction markets to on-chain games. Build anything, verify everything. And Wallet Connect powers billions in monthly volume across wallets, apps, users, and institutions. That blue logo, it's everywhere. An icon of trust in crypto, as recognizable as Visa at the checkout. If you want to learn more, follow at Wallet Connect on X and Telegram to stay ahead of what's next. All right, looks like we got him live from the back of an Uber.
Let's go.
Farouk's in the house. GM, how you doing?
Can you hear me well?
We can hear you okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in the back of a car right now. I had to drive. So I interviewed Tom Lee this morning at like 9 a.m. And then from there, directly drove to Abu Dhabi for an hour and a half for the BNB hackathon. I was a mentor for that. Also met the co-CEO of Binance, YEET, which is super cool. And then from there, Gate hit me up and they're like, come to the Red Bull paddock. We got your ticket for the F1. So head to the F1. And from there, I'm on the back of a car, headed back to Dubai for an hour and a half so I can have drinks with Tom Lee. So we're doing the most today. We're doing it.
What a run. What a run indeed. Well, how was the Tom Lee combo? We don't need to give any spoilers because I know it's going to be posted here maybe in a few days. But how are the vibes from Tom?
It was great. Tom, he's one of us. He's like you and I, right? You'll see him. He's also going to come on the show at some point. We talked about that today, but he's a permeable, and he's been one for like 30 years, right? So it was a great conversation because we started off on like his history at Wharton, JP Morgan, stuff that he doesn't talk about usually. It's always about the same shit, right? We kept that conversation to a minimum to the end. And then Ethereum, the market. Listen, Tom Lee's very bullish into 2026. Sorry, very bullish. So excited to publish this. It's a really, really good conversation.
Well, we pray he is. He's right, and he is a true permeable. That can't be denied. How's Dubai been?
We talked Bitcoin. We talked potential flippening of Bitcoin. It was a crazy conversation. It was a good one. And he's so calm and composed. You would love it. Dubai's great, man. I have to say, you guys know I'm not the biggest fan usually, but the Binance Blockchain Week has really been when everyone's at. Been a lot of chats, a lot of big founders. So it's been very good for MYRIAD, right? We had a few announcements this week. We had the MYRIAD pools go live yesterday. Well, the announcement of it. So it's been a good week. Very happy I made it out here, but ready to go home now.
And when are you going home?
This weekend.
All right.
God willing. It's booked. It was supposed to go home today. I extended to be a mentor for the hackathon. Couldn't say no, right? When they ask you to stay back for this, you kind of say yes. And so I'm going home this weekend. And hopefully that was the last one for the year because your boy's tired.
Understandably so after hearing your hour-by-hour breakdown of today. But seems like it has been a fruitful trip. So happy you made it out there. We'll be excited to have you back at the desk next week as well. I'm going to take us into the market report again, do my best Mando impression. And folks, looks like we bottomed it. We're back 91.3 after going sub 90 briefly before the market open here today. So nice little bounce on the US Open. Bitcoin 91.3, ETH 31.50 down 0.5% on the day. So basically not changed. ETH is still green on the week, actually up 2.5%. Solana is down the most, down 4% at 137, much to the chagrin of my synthetics trades, which we'll get to in a bit. What was surprising to me about the crypto sell-off this morning was that stocks are green. So for the most part, stocks have been pretty strong. So this was a local crypto sell-off, but of course now with the bounce back, it's not really looking that bad. From macro news, the biggest news I think in TradFi or in traditional stocks was out Netflix. Netflix is going to buy Warner Brothers for $72 billion.
That's crazy.
Netflix stock did dip about 5%, I believe, on that deal. It's Netflix. Actually, don't know if their ticker. All right. Looks like it's rebounding. So yeah, they're back to even after a sharp sell-off. Wow. So the market actually seems to be liking that news. So big news out of Netflix there. An interesting headline from Bank of America is they're already looking forward to the January FOMC. So December, no longer the most important FOMC of our lives because it's already 95% chance to cut the rate. Bank of America says, we think they might cut again in January.
Whoa. So wait, what's the CME at right now? The odds?
Yeah, let's take a look. So December.
I saw some news this morning. What?
87%.
Did you hold your prediction?
I sold at 90.
Okay. Wow.
90%.
What a trade. Damn.
So that was a nice little 3x. I still think it's going to happen, but again, you never know. So I think when you get to 90%, it's just worth selling from a.
They don't get priced in again, because we were priced out, and now we may slowly get priced in again here.
Well, here's the thing. Now the rate cut is priced in to markets. So if it doesn't happen, we're probably going to sell off a bit. But now Bank of America is starting to look ahead to January. So January is currently 65% one cut, 25% at two. So I think it's a 25% chance we're going to get cut. And Bank of America is saying they actually think that's perhaps a little low. So already starting to look at January. It feels like a lot, kind of given how Powell's commentary has been. So we'll see what he actually says next week. Don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves here. But I thought that was pretty interesting. And we've got Trump talking about tiny cars. I've just approved tiny cars to be built in America. We're going to have the tiniest cars. We already have plenty of big cars.
What is that?
Tiniest cars built in the U.S. I actually don't know anything about this. I just thought it was a pretty hilarious timeline or headline here that we're just going to have tiny cars. They're going to need less gas. They can be electric. They can be hybrid. We're going to start building them. So this is a new initiative.
What is tiny cars?
I don't think any of us know what the definition of tiny cars is. I'm actually not a fan of tiny cars. They seem very dangerous.
So he wants U.S. car makers to make a tiny car. So
tiny cars.
Apparently he returned from Japan to talk about that. Okay, interesting. There's a lot of those in Europe. If it's what I think it is, it's really small. It's like one-seaters.
Yeah, they're super small. And if you haven't seen Americans, the average American is larger than the average European. They're also larger than the average Japanese person as well. Something to do with our diets over here. So I think we have to be careful going too with our cars. But Trump leaning in himself. Some of the other macro headlines, we talked about this a little bit yesterday. I'm not sure if you saw this with how busy you were you've been, Farouk, but Larry Fink says the sovereign wealth funds are buying. On stage with Brian Armstrong at Dealbook Summit, he said he knows some sovereign wealth funds. They were buying the top at 125. They were buying at 100K. They were buying the dip into the 80s, and they're still buying now. So that was an interesting firsthand account from one of the most powerful.
Tom's saying the same thing. Like, Tom told me word for word. He said, as much as I hate to say it, in a way, I'm paraphrasing, so you'll hear it live in the something along the lines like, I don't mind $3,000 ETH. He's like, you're just giving it to me. He said they've accelerated the rate at which they're buying ETH on the dip since 2,700. So he's like licking his lips, dude. So if he's doing this, they're thinking the same.
That's very interesting, right? And ETH has outperformed relatively to other majors. And I've been curious how much of that has been Tom and BitMiners buying, right? So I believe his average was closer to 4K. So any substantial amount of ETH he can buy at 3K or below is huge to reduce his average. So, I mean, he has to shove in if he can, especially if he thinks that the bottom is in, because now is the time to buy. So I think we're going to continue to watch it. Some folks have been talking about ETH Bitcoin breaking out. I don't think we've quite had the breakout move just yet. It's kind of on the line. Let's just take a look at ETH Bitcoin. What does it look like? Pull up TradingView here shortly. All right, zoom out. Okay, so yeah, here's the trend line. Pretty much down only since October 23rd, but looks like it might be breaking out a little bit. So that's going to be an important trend to watch. I mean, many are still, fingers crossed, holding their breath, calling for Hail Mary alt season to come, and they're watching this chart pretty closely for indicators of if and when that might indeed start. I think another interesting macro folks talk about, it is an interesting one. Coinbase or CoinDesk reported on this. The research was actually done by Amber Data, but effectively what they're saying is that the big dip that we saw a couple weeks ago was not actually large spot sellers, but it was unwinding the basis trade. So the data that they have basically shows, and they analyze the large ETF positions and how holdings changed over the course of that time period. They're basically saying that these funds were running the delta neutral trade, where they were short Bitcoin, long IBIT. Effectively, they were trying to capture the spread on that trade, and effectively the spread condensed, and they started exiting that delta neutral trade, and the way that they exited effectively led to the Bitcoin drawdown, but not a large drawdown in the actual spot holdings of the ETF. So I'm not doing the best job paraphrasing that, but I thought that was an interesting anecdote's the wrong word, because there's actual data to back this up, rationale, I guess, to describe this latest dip that did catch a lot of us off guard. Didn't seem to really have any real natural or fundamental driver behind it, other than 4-year cycle sell-off, and we were all kind of scratching our heads. And this is a very rational reason for why this indeed may have happened. So there's more forces at play than just the ETFs, but I did think that was an interesting data point here from Amber Data. So I encourage folks to go take a look at that if you're interested in dig in more. Let's go to synthetics. Farouk, you're probably doing all right. I don't know if you made a trade yet. If you haven't, then you're still...
You know me. I'm going to come in hot, dude. I'm going to fly this weekend. I'm going to put some trades. Next week on the show, every single day I'm putting on a trade live. And it's going to be fun. And I'm going to open my crates with Infinex. But how are you doing?
Well, I'm not doing so hot. So I was doing well. I had a nice little 50x so long on, but I didn't close. I was up 25K. I was like top 20 in the comp. I left it open too long. It ended up turning into a net loss. So I'm down now. Let's see, where am I? Oh God, I'm in 234th. I've got 10K left. Now, part of the reason I did go more aggressive, because they put it in the trading comp group chat, we're going to get topped up again. I think we're going to get another 50K. margin. So they're refilling everyone. So because of that, I took a few extra shots that I necessarily may not have taken. And those shots did not go well, as you can see. And
Winning.
I hate to admit, I've been back and forth on Bitcoin. I'm actually short right now from 90K. So I'm about to get blown out. So I've been struggling. I was in the Zeke trade briefly. I just haven't held on to it. That seems like it was actually one of the better trades. Fartcoin has been honestly one of the better trades. If you caught it off the bottom, it was around 32 cents, wicked all the way up into the 37. So maybe you would have cooked on that if you were at the desk. It's going to be a tougher one to win. And no one's out to a massive lead, but like Loopify is in first. He's got 230K. So he's 4.5x the account. Cosmic's in second, 215. KBM, 167. He's in third. The top up is going to be a kind of a game changer. So when that happens, I'm expecting more jostling on the leaderboard. But it's really been these three kind of holding up top for the last few days. We did get a couple big announcements out of Synthex. I want to go through these. So one, they announced teams. So you can effectively join the team of your favorite trader. So like if you think KBM is going to win, you can join his team and capture a part of his winnings. So the way you do it, you need to deposit USDT, and there's like a time weighted system on it. That the longer you have capital locked up, the more weight you have for that person's team. And then there's this bonus draw where you can get entries into the trading competition yourself. And then if your person wins, you get a stake of their 500K SNX prize pool. So kind of a fun little twist for those who, if you're actively watching this synthetics comp,
Nice.
you'd have a little bit of skin in the game without putting up a ton of money. So I thought that was a fun one. And they introduced WIC insurance, which this is bigger than just the trading comp. I think this is for synthetics overall. But the idea is to help your positions survive those like scam wicks, which I've actually had that. I've been able to survive. Like I had a position on Camino that survived some of those crazy scams because of the way Camino is structured. So these things are meaningful, right? And we saw 1010, everyone who got wiped out on those crazy wicks. Things like WIC insurance can help protect those positions. And, we are partnering with Synthex, so I have to be clear about that. But I will say I have enjoyed the trading experience on Synthetics. It's a
lot of fun.
It is fun.
It's a good platform. Like obviously they got some work to do. I may have a little lag. My bad. I'm on like a spot here. I was saying it's a good platform. They always have a little work to do because they're still like, it's beta. It's kind of like people are using it. They can lay more people on here and there, but it's a great platform. And I've had so much fun last one, and I can't wait to get back to trading on it. But it's they're doing good, and I'm glad we're doing this with them because it's a lot of fun.
I'm curious what trades Tom Lee put in your ear and you're going to put on when you're back at the desk next week. And for one, because like I need tips. I'm clearly not doing that well. Sad to see it, especially because I was, I hate crying over spilled milk, but I was in the top 20 right there. Could have just gone flat, but decided to press the lock. And you can always come back. You can always come back. I let my bullish vibes take over. And I guess it's kind of zoomed out. I am a little surprised. I mean, even a lot of the quants and TA folks out there, I come in kind of pulling back and talking about Bitcoin near-term price action a little bit. Kind of thought we were positioned to march up to 100K or so over the next couple weeks, not in a straight line by any means. And a lot of the folks I saw had like the imaginary line drawn at like 91.5 and said they needed to see 91.5 hold. And if we dipped below that, we could be at risk of retracing the move. So that's actually part of the reason why I flipped short for the trading comp and on the hyperlocal basis. So we'll see. I mean, if we do sell off here, and I think we want to try to hold above 87, 88 or so.
I have to say, the way I played the comp last time is not listening to CT.
Smart.
I have to tell you this secret. I don't trade based on the CT lines because you actually have a good gut feeling on the way up. Don't short. You're like me. Like we were really bad shorters because we're too bullish, but your gut's usually right on those longs. Like that ZEC long. You had it. You had like me, right?
No.
I would have had over $1 million in that trading comp last time I had it kept that ZEC long, but I cut it. It's the same thing. Like it's got to find the right long, you know?
Just got to find it and hold it is the other problem here. My Zeke chart is fairly schizophrenic. I've been in and out a few different times on this one, but I still like this. This is probably one of the, like, are you going to win the comp trading Bitcoin? Probably not, right? You got to take shots down the field a little bit on the assets that can move, 10 to 20% in a day and nail those candles. So I think Zeke has got to be one of the leading candidates. I was hoping maybe Sol was as well, but it's not looking like it's going to be the top dog. So an interesting one is Hype, actually. So Hype's now 7% down. It was at 34.35. So if you catch a Hype candle, you got a 10% trade perhaps up on that. So that would be one to maybe add to the list. But I'm sure we'll go through it in more detail next week when you are back at the desk. Continuing to run through some of the other headlines from the day. Let's see. Jack Mahler's 21 Capital is, or just 21. Yeah, 21 Capital is set to have their stock trading on the NYSE next week under XXI. Their merger with the Cantor Equity Partners tied to Howard Lutnick it looks like that is closing. This is notable because I kind of forgot about this. We hadn't been talking about 21 Cap for a while, but they're going to be the third largest DAT in the world and the second largest Bitcoin DAT. So they're launching with 4 billion in Bitcoin. They've got 43,500, which is 50% more than the next up, it looks like. So this is they're going to be a substantial player out of the gate. So that's going to be an interesting news stock to watch next week. And they're launching at a very interesting time with the debt trade somewhat largely unwinding, a lot of concerns about MicroStrategy and MicroStrategy stock. And Saylor maybe not doing himself any favors this morning. This was an interesting one. I've already seen a bit of back and forth on the timeline about this, but Saylor basically coming out and saying he thinks Bitcoin shouldn't have privacy, at least not Zcash style, that will allow nation states to shut it down. So the privacy crew has kind of come up in arms against this one. I think there's
That's a weird thing to say. Did he really say that? Is that paraphrasing or did he literally say that?
I think we'll need to go through the whole context of this. I mean, this is in quotes, so I do think he said it. I can kind of see where Saylor's coming from. So for one, like you can hold Bitcoin fairly privately. Like there's ways to do it, right? Like you create wallets, you figure out how to bridge capital into those wallets, and they're fairly anonymous. Of course, with sophisticated tracking going down that route, like that you can perhaps link it to someone, the top sleuths in the world. But for a day-to-day person, you can operate fairly anonymously. I think what he's saying, I mean, he's basically saying he thinks Zcash is going to get shut down forward. It's the way it hides its privacy features, its core privacy features effectively is why he thinks it'll get shut down. And I don't know. I think that is a risk to Zcash, right? It's probably a reason why Zcash is not trading higher than where it is. And I'm not necessarily saying in the US, but like in Europe with the kind of levels of crackdown that we're seeing Europe do right now, like could Zcash eventually get banned? I think it's non-zero. So I do see what he's saying. And with all the work that he's put in for institutional and sovereign wealth fund adoption, is that too much for Bitcoin to risk? I see his point. So I'm curious to dig into this story a little bit more and see more context of the broader conversation. But that was an interesting one that popped up this morning. In other macro headlines, this was a big one out of the CFTC. Like, this is one that it doesn't necessarily move price action on a day-to-day basis, but it's just another really major green light. So the CFTC given the green light, spot crypto trading for all CFTC registered exchanges is going to be okay. And they're going to start with Bitnomial. So Bitcoin spot and ETH spot has now been given the green light to be traded for all of the CFTC exchanges. This is the first time. So it is a big deal. Caroline Pham came out and made a statement about it yesterday. You can read more here. Working smarter and faster to protect Americans who deserve safe U.S. markets, not offshore exchanges. So more of this continued trend to bring crypto trading back onshore in the U.S., away from the offshore sexes, where folks were effectively forced to trade for quite some time. So more barriers being broken down. This was perhaps on the flip side. The IMF, the International Monetary Fund, came out with a warning that stablecoin adoption could stifle central bank control. And I think that's actually one of the core foundational aspects of crypto and stablecoins, in fact. So thank you for realizing that, the IMF. But this is an area where we're starting to already see pushback, right, against how citizens having access to stablecoins easy and fast. They can get it on their smartphones. They even say here, there's a quote, stablecoins can penetrate an economy rapidly via the internet and smartphones, and they consider that a risk. So the fight is still going on. As much as we talk about the institutional adoption happening, there are still some big players out there who don't like it and are trying to put their foot on the proverbial neck.
Yeah.
Crypto and stablecoins.
Oh, well, they're going to lose.
Yeah. I think we kind of like the fight, right? It shows that we're doing something right. You know, like it's gotten big enough that it's on all of these folks' radars. Maybe moving into the prediction market space a bit. There was actually 3 pretty big pieces of news yesterday. MYRIAD pools you shared. I think we'll probably dive into that more when you're at the desk, and we can really dig in to what it means and how folks can participate. Polymarket had the MetaMask announcement. They are going to integrate their markets directly into the MetaMask wallet, and then Kalshi CNBC. So Kalshi followed up their CNN partnership and
that was crazy back to back. I saw CNBC. That. That was a crazy back to back. Congrats to Polymarket and MetaMask coming second. You know, I had to.
MYRIAD and Trust had it first.
Yeah, but Kalshi's CNN and CNBC back to back is very interesting, I have to say. It's a big deal.
It is massive proliferation. There is no argument against that. And we're going to have more and more prediction market data integrated with the media in the very near term. I'm actually really interested to watch that play out. I think the media integration is still one of the most interesting aspects of all of this right now. So it's exciting times, to say the least. Rounding this out, it was kind of a more quiet day. Nice for you being away. You didn't really miss a whole lot. I'm not really sure you missed a whole lot this week, if I'm being honest.
No, it doesn't seem like it.
It's like you had the crew out in Dubai. You had Art Basel happening. So like that art cohort. Not sure if you've seen this. It looked like it was a little bit of a slower conference from a crypto specific angle, but the digital art crew had what seems like a Art Basel. Dude,
the people, Jack Butcher, X-Copy, like the art side was sick. Like people cooked that. Dude, it was all over my Instagram.
Yeah.
Like it was like the little robots Jack Butcher went viral for doing something where like people came and paid for the boot. Like I don't know if you saw what he did. Super cool. And a lot of people were there. But the reason why Art Basel was so quiet crypto wise this year, whereas usually it's mega loud, is because there's Breakpoint here next week, bro. Like it's Binance Blockchain Week. So it's Binance Blockchain Week into Abu Dhabi Finance Week into Breakpoint. So it's like from a business standpoint, I mean, you know, because we canceled our efforts at Art Basel, which is it to participate in the REKT Invitational. I didn't even bother going, and I'm here instead. From a business standpoint, the business is here, right? So I don't think it has anything to do with the market or anything. It's just, you know, it's got to follow the money, right? And right now, everything's going on for the next 15 days here. Breakpoint's going to be interesting because that's usually when Solana rolls out their big announcements.
It is. So I was just going to go there. I think Solana is perhaps one of the more interesting trades into next week, right? It's somewhat.
I've been liking this range. I've traded a few times. The 126, 140. It just for the life of it, it cannot break that 142 price point. The day it does is going to be aggressive, but it's been a fun little race. So we'll see. We'll see.
That's what, yeah. So I was in that trade a little bit again. It didn't really work out, and it briefly got to like 144. I thought maybe it was going to break out there, but now back in the range. But I think we'll be watching that one closely here next week. For today's show, I think we've gone around the horn, but we do have some news for our loyal listeners here. It looks like, for one thing, it looks like we have fixed the subs issue on Kick. So folks will be able to sub again, and we're accepting new ones, and then we will be firing up those subscriber giveaways again here shortly. So thank you all for bearing with us through that. Happy that Sims and Charlie and folks were able to get that resolved. And Charlie, I think if we can.
Yeah, we fixed it. We can. I got bad news. Hold on. Because I'm supposed to do it. For some reason, the show loads, but YEET is not loading. It's not a YEET problem. It's a me problem. And I know we're doing 4 winners today, which is crazy. Hold on. Let me try again. Because I'm on the highway. I'm on like the main highway right now. 1 second. Oh, I think I got it to load.
Oh man,
it's slow.
I feel like it's gonna be pretty slow.
Because if it doesn't work, we just do 5 people Monday. But hold on.
Yeah, I think at a minimum, I think we can pick some people who are here today.
Hold on, I'm getting Plinko to load, Tyler.
All right.
Hold on.
I'm down for a little Friday Plinko.
Huh? We may have to because No Shot Lamb Chop loads with the fucking spot internet.
That's too hard
right now. Hold on. Okay, Plinko has been loaded. So while I got you guys, Charlie, rip it, baby. Rip it because we're good.
We're doing 4 winners, folks. Happy Friday. I know I realize that we've been slow this week. We're gonna do it. Let's spin that wheel. As Ponzi Master? All right. As Ponzi Master, you have an incredible handle. And you've won our first. Oh, I am out. All right. Real quick, shout to Spacebar. It looks like Spacebar gifted 10 subs. What a guy. Thank you. Thank you, Spacebar. We appreciate that. All right, we got 2 more. Ontarden. All right. Ontarden.
So many winners.
We got 1 more. Ultra. All right. We got 4 winners. Folks, what we're going to do today, obviously the internet connection is a little unstable, so I think we're just going to run Plinko for all 4 folks together and split it up. Is that the idea?
One run, $2,000 because 5, 5, 5, 5, and they split in 4. How do you think?
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. So we're going to do one
I think
run.
it's fair too. So congrats to all of them.
$2,000. How many
They
balls
already
we want to
pocketed
do?
2K.
20
You
balls?
tell me. That's
$2,000 balls? That's some high variance right there.
Yo.
If you hit a 9X
Okay,
in there, you're looking
let
real
me-
good.
Okay, I'm gonna turn my camera off for a second and share my screen. So,
Yeah.
oh no, that's not good. Okay, share screen, allow. Where's my window? Okay, are you seeing the Plinko window?
Now I do. All right, we got it on stage. So
Okay, so you see Plinko, right?
we do.
So we're gonna do
100
100.
bets and highs. Yeah, this looks right.
Okay, ready? All right, guys. Full
Here
screen.
we
You see
go.
the full screen?
This is some high stakes Plinko right here, folks.
Let's go.
No audio, and that's okay. We'll get the color commentary. All
This
right,
is great.
left to right, left to right, not straight down the middle, not straight down the middle. Man, no, Mando, no. Oh my, this is. Oh no, folks. Oh no, that's one of the worst outcomes I've ever seen in my history of watching.
That was
Plinko.
the worst.
That was almost
That
a
was
straight
the
shot,
worst.
0 2x. I think there was a handful of 2x's. That is about as bad as it gets.
That was the worst Plinko ever.
Oh no. Oh no. Mando, we need to have a word with you next week when you
What the
are
fuck,
back.
Mando?
But
Okay,
yeah,
listen.
the team, Charlie and the folks will coordinate with the winners offline. But you got a nice little payout before the weekend just for
Hey,
tuning in
listen. They
a
still
show.
made, yeah, exactly. They still made their money. You know,
At least $500. Probably got like $600, $650 or so. We'll see what it ends up being. So again, the team will coordinate with you. But I want to thank all of our listeners for tuning in all week. Farouk, thank you for joining live from the back of the car. Not the easiest thing to do. Folks, we'll be back on Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern for another episode of Rug Radio. Till then, have a beautiful day. Goodbye.